can understand it because when you have LeBron James on your roster, he brings expectations, and with expectations come pressure. LeBron James is one of the few players that's ever entered into the NBA. No matter what his roster looked like, he's expected to get to and win NBA Finals games. He puts so much pressure on an organization because we hear, oh, we want to win. Well, LeBron James says, show me. Spend up to the cap, over the cap, because this is what I need. Skip is different than football. You know, in football, you break up offense, defense. You break up, you know, tight ends have their meetings and wide receivers have their meetings. You can't do that in basketball, Skip. Everybody is right there in the same meeting room every single day. And in football, you travel the day before the game, you're back out there after the game, and you're back home. On basketball, it's day after day after day after week, and you see each other. And with the expectations of that pressure. Now, it's not easy playing with an all-time great player. I had the luxury of playing with John Elway. Made my job so much easier. But they are very, very demanding. There's very expectations. Shannon, you got one job. When I throw it to you, you need to catch it. Yep. And I don't need to hear, well, they did this or the wind, it was raining. I throw you the ball, you catch it. LeBron James says, okay, everybody has a job here. Now, I know I have the more lion's share of the work. But when I throw you this ball in the corner, you need to make that shot. Mm-hmm. When I hit you on this outlet pass, you need to make that layup. He puts so much pressure on you. It's not easy, Skip, and it starts to grind you. We're starting to see this in New England. Now, it took a long time for it to come to fruition, Skip, but this is what we're starting to see in New England with the expectations of getting to and winning Super Bowls year after year after year. And that's what LeBron James does. He puts so much pressure not only on himself, but on you as an organization to make sure that you're spending and you're bringing the best players in. But I tell you what, everybody keeps saying, well, you know, they get fatigued. I know 29 other teams would love to have a LeBron James, Skip Bayless, because you know what happens? Your house, every home game that you play will be sold out. Yep. Every time you go on the road, will be sold out. That also means the value of your franchise will go up. Because if LeBron James were to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers, let's take a look at what their value is as a team is right now, and once we leave. And once he leaves, you'll see what happens. Did I say we? Once LeBron leaves. Us.
You said we.
I did. Skip, I didn't mean to say that out loud. I mean, that was subconscious.
It's totally out on the table. It's just who you are and who
No, it's not.
Yeah. So, by the way, you made the New England comparison. Remember, in New England, the coach has gotten more and more jealous of the quarterback. The coach is battling the quarterback for credit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Quietly battling.
Yes.
Right? Behind the scenes. So that's not what's going on in Cleveland. I don't think Ty Lue cares about any credit. I don't see that or sense that.
Because he'll never get it.
Well, he would never get it. Okay, but even if he wanted it, he doesn't ever hit me as a guy who is trying to position himself, angle for credit. Right. Nothing he says post game is, well, I want to remind you that I
drew up this great play.
No, he doesn't do that. Maybe David Blatt did that occasionally, and that got him fired. Right. So in this case, speaking of Ty Lue, he is on the record as saying he believes coaching the Cleveland Cavaliers, not just LeBron, but coaching the Cavaliers is the quote-unquote hardest job in sports. Yeah. I would agree with that. I think Dan Gilbert's no walk in the park either. No. Right? Right. Because you have an owner who is, I don't care, you can have Kobe Altman or whoever you want to throw in there. Hey, Dan Gilbert's running the show as a basketball man. At least he's signing off on what happened? Remember, they flew his jet down to, where was it, Tuscaloosa, to watch Trae Young against, who was it, Colin Sexton?
Yes.
And he took the whole scouting group in his plane, but he went. Right. He was the head of the scouting contingent.
Normally, the owner sends the contingent to go, you go look at the player and let me get the information.
Okay, well, that should tell you what you need to know. And I think again, Kobe Altman does the legwork and he brings him potential deals, but the deal is closed by Dan Gilbert.
Right.
Well, that's hard because now you have an owner and a superstar who should have never reunited. I still can't believe the superstar gave in and buried the hatchet instead of burying it in the guy's head, like after what he did. He accused you of quitting?
Yes.
Wow.
Call you classless and the so-called king.
The so-called king, and that's when he took his talents to South Beach, and then they reunite, and they have this sort of...
He's going to sell LeBron. He's going to sell LeBron the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, I believe so.
You got some inside?
No, I don't got no inside, but for him to come back, Skip, you got to promise me something.
Yep. So poor Ty Lue, who seems like a really good man, he's coached this team for 3 years, and it looks like he's aged 10 years in 3 years.
He got more gray hair than I do.
Right?
Yes, he does.
And it required, what did he miss? 10 games for
Heart, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat.
Or what was it? No, 9 games. 9 games he missed where, I don't know, he's just stomach wouldn't work.
He missed more. Remember, Skip, he was coaching the first half and wouldn't come back out for the second half. So Larry Drew had to fill in for him on 2 or 3 occasions.
Yep,
not to count the games that he actually missed.
Yeah. You can't tell me that's just not organizational stress, right?
Yeah.
So obviously LeBron is one of the greatest players ever, but he's different than Jordan in this way. He's moodier. Like Michael was just always the same. And Michael didn't create drama behind the scenes. I know he had his issue off the court and he got suspended he was asked to step aside for almost 2 years.
He punched Steve Kerr in the eye. Okay, what does that got to do with it?
Well, that's
Bron ain't punching nobody in the eye.
No, that's true. Michael is like crazy competitive. He punched Will Perdue in the eye.
Yeah. He know who to punch.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
You just pick on somebody's own size, right?
Yeah. You know, Shay Sharp.
That wouldn't have flown.
No.
No.
What?
Huh?
Was it? I mean, technically, Schlereth punched you in the eye.
Nah, that was in the game. Because if he punched me in my eye in the locker room, I promise you.
But I never heard, I covered the team, and I never heard a discouraging word about Michael from anybody else. They loved him, and he energized that franchise. And from day to day, he would always just be the same guy, just driven, like crazy driven to win games. LeBron likes social media. He likes to be passive-aggressive on social media, drop hints about this. I don't have enough help. We need to do this. We need to do that. It's constant. What is he saying? What's he doing? It just creates some tension behind the scenes.
Skip, I think the biggest thing is, in the history of the NBA, no player has ever had the power that this young man has.
That is true.
And he has them swinging it.
Mm-hmm.
And when he swings it, things happen. He forces an organization. Skip, everybody talking about, well, we want to win, but they don't spend or they don't do the things necessary in order to win.
Yeah.
When he comes to your organization, you've assured him that you want to win and you're willing to do what's necessary in order to win.
Yeah.
Be it acquire players or spend above the cap, which means going to the luxury tax.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Gilbert assured him that he was going to do that.
He did.
And I have it from a very reliable source that LeBron was pleading with Dan Gilbert not to trade Kyrie. Bring Kyrie to camp.
Yeah.
Whatever the differences is, if he wants to take more shots, even though he took more shots in the regular season,
he did.
Whatever I need to do not trade Kyrie. I'll work it out. We'll get it done. Okay. And Dan Gilbert did it anyway. And
he didn't have to.
He didn't have to because he had 2 more years.
He did.
And if it had ever gotten out that Kyrie was going to have surgery on a knee that he didn't need surgery on at the time in order to try and force a trade, I don't believe Kyrie could have ever recovered from that publicly. Mm-hmm. That would have been a PR nightmare because we've never seen a situation, Skip, where a superstar, a guy of his caliber, deliberately do something because he couldn't get his way. I don't believe Kyrie could have recovered from that.
Yeah.
But they did it. And it wasn't so much that they did it, is that what they got back in return, Skip, were beans. They got Isaiah, who was busted up.
So
Skip.
they got took.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got had.
But Boston also kind of got had in a little different way. But Kyrie was damaged goods too. And once he finally said, I got to get this cleaned up, then it turned into something even worse. And obviously, he's not there.
Right.
Okay. So they were both damaged in their own. But I think the damage is worse on God bless him. I hope he comes back. Finally had surgery, which he should have probably had a year ago.
You're probably right. And that's the thing, Skip. I mean, having these guys, but you don't think the Lakers had expectations? Now, they had a very unique situation, Skip. They win the title 1 year. The next year, they get bumped out of the finals by the Rockets. I think they got kicked out by the Rockets. And the next year, they get James Worthy. Mm. You don't normally see teams that win the championship 1 year get the number 1 overall pick 2 years later. Nope. That doesn't normally happen. When you went to the Celtics, They weren't developing players, Skip. They were trading for Dennis Johnson. They were trying to bring in Bill Walton. We trying to win right now.
Still not sure how the Celtics got Larry Bird, but whatever.
Well, what happened was back then, Skip, you could draft the guy while he go back to school. You get his draft rights when he came out.
But it's crazy. It's just like, how did you pull that off, Red Auerbach?
I mean, the Lakers, you get Dr. Buss was telling the story. He said, I buy the team.
Yep.
They had the #1 overall pick if you take Magic Johnson.
Yep.
Well, they got Kareem. Skip, where do you do that at?
I got it. So bottom line to this, Kyrie just told Dan Gilbert, I just can't take the drama anymore. I'm just tired of all this stuff that we just talked about. I want out. And I'm still surprised Dan Gilbert let him out and actually allowed him to go to a team that's a challenger.
I don't know if it's true, and I hate my grandma say, boy, I told you about talking behind people. That means repeating what I heard. But I had heard from a very reliable source that even though Kyrie was tired of this, what really upset him is that someone told him that they were trying to move him.
No, they did. Yep.
And that guy, he said, okay, if you want to move me, I want out.
That's true.
So that was the crook. Yeah. Did he want to be his own boss? Did he want to navigate his own ship?
Yep.
Sure he did. Was he upset with some of the things that were going on in the organization because LeBron's team had privileges that his team didn't get? Mm-hmm. Sure. He has even less privileges now in Boston that he had in Cleveland.
That is a
fact.
But
once he got wind that they were willing to move him after the performance that he had, Skip, because he was averaging 28, 29 points, like 5 points or 5 assists, 5 rebounds in that series against Golden State. And then, as you mentioned, the shot the year before, he played unbelievable.
That is true. So bottom line to this is that Kevin Love is the only teammate who's made complete peace with, I'm going to be the fall guy. If I don't play well, everybody's going to say, oh, you let down the king.
And change completely who he was. Kevin Love was a 26-14 guy with his back to the basket. And they turned him into a stretch. No, Kevin, you're not posting up. You're shooting threes.
So who did LeBron take to the podium with him after game 2?
Love,
Kev.
Go Kev.
Oh, he's back to being Kev now?
Go Kev. Be dropping them dimes, dropping dimes.
That was the hot topic of the day presented